Welcome to the ExEm podcast. Here is your host, mental health therapist, Matthew Knabe.
I am very hard on myself, dealt with severe anxiety.
And it made me feel like a monster. I didn't have the energy to care.
There was just nothing more but to face what I had been running from.
I'm already an anxiety-filled mess.
It's just love. Like, it just goes back to love.
All right, friends, so we are going to do another mental health minute, and today's topic is going to be calm parenting. I know this is important because so many of us need to be reminded of these things and have some of these in our toolbox as we're raising our kids. I am one of those people as well, and these are several different things to be thinking about to raise children. And so I'm going to get right into topic number one, and I think that is listen more than you talk. And this is a hard thing to do when you're parenting. I think it's important for us to be modeling behavior. Children will imitate what they see more than they hear. Are we modeling how to handle emotions, navigating conflict, how to show empathy? And then one of the big ones that I talk about a lot is, are we showing and modeling how to own mistakes? And I think it's a really important thing to think. It's very scriptural for us to be slow to speak, be slow to react, be slow with the tongue. So try to listen a little bit more than when we talk. One of the other ones I think is really big is, how much are we scheduling our kids' time? One of the things, as I've worked with families, it's unbelievable because sports, extracurriculars, school, all start taking up so much time. And I've worked with kids, teens, adolescents, who literally have zero time. From the time they get up in the morning till the time they go to bed at night, there is no downtime. And I know our schedules get really, really busy. But I think it's important to be able to have some decompression time. And so be mindful of that when we're signing kids up for dance or cheerleading or soccer. You know, is there one event a season that we can be doing instead of 4 events? So I think that's another important thing that we need to be doing. The other one, I've heard a lot of psychologists talk about this concept, especially of late, is be encouraging versus just praising. And what that means is saying something like, man, you worked really hard at that, versus saying you are so smart. And I think what that does is it helps reinforce the effort that our kids put into something versus their identity. And I know this happens a lot. It certainly happens in families where you get labeled early on, like, he's the funny one, he's the smart one, he's the athlete, which then becomes like this self-fulfilling prophecy that is who I am. And I think it's really beneficial to help kids and encouraging them in the accomplishment versus defining them as who they are. Another important point I'd like to make is that quality time is more important than the quantity of time. Meaning, be intentional about the time you spend with your kids. Be present. Put the devices down. Be engaging. Listen and reflect what they're saying. I think a lot of times we can feel guilty because we don't have as much time as we'd like because of jobs and other commitments. But it's really about the quality of the time that we spend with our children versus sometimes even the amount. Another quick topic I think that is really important is one that I think about and talk about quite a bit, but it's food. What kind of food is our children eating? I know that certain sugars, processed sugars, dyes, really affect the way a child can process. It affects their reaction. I know we've seen this especially with our youngest child. When she has any type of red dye or anything like that, it massively affects her mood. And so we're very, very careful about trying to get as much whole food to our children with less processing, with less processed sugars, less dyes, because it does. You can see it almost instantaneously how it hijacks these children's behavior. And so the last thing that I'd like to mention in this mental health minute is take care of yourself. If you're not taking care of yourself, it's very difficult to take care of others. If you are not practicing self-care, it's really hard to be a responder, not a reactor. In every situation, we want to respond to it and not react. And it's hard to do that if you're tired, if you're not eating well, if you're not exercising, if you're not grounded. Be mindful of those things. So there's just a couple things to be thinking about as a parent, things that I'm constantly working on as a parent myself. And we'll keep putting out different things like this for parenting and things to be thinking about, because I think it's such an important, hot topic that people are talking about all the time. Well, until next time, or when our Savior comes, God bless.